Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Jake Reilly and today we're reviewing a 2014 Mustang GT. Alright guys, so with me I've got a 2014 Mustang GT. The GT means that this comes with the Coyote 5-liter V8, which produces right around 420 horsepower. Now this specific Mustang has had a few bits done to it, so I'm gonna disclose those before we get started. First of all, we have a cold air intake. We have a tune on it, so that should bump the power up to about 450 horsepower. Suspension wise, this comes with the solid rear axle, which was updated in the 2015 Mustangs to the independent rear suspension. So basically what that means is on the rear axle, if one of the wheels bumps up, like if it hits a bump, the other one goes up too. So the pros to that is that it's a heck of a good drag car, but when it comes to cornering, it's not the best, at least compared to the newer Mustang models. All right, so let's get in with the styling. So first of all, my favorite part about this car is the paint. I love the way this looks, the black and the way that the nose just kind of angles down right here. It's super sinister when it's coming at you. And these little LED running lights right here, they're just on when you're driving, and I love the look of that. Second of all, you can see right here you have the 5.0 badge, and that just kind of lets everyone know that you're a little bit more powerful than the V6 Mustangs. A little bit more on the styling, you have these hood vents right here, which are actually styled off of the Boss 302 Mustang, I'm pretty sure, and they are functional. They're heat extractors, so it just takes heat from the engine and gets it out of there so that the engine can run a little bit cooler. And now going on to the back, we have some updated taillights for this year. They're LED and they're sequential turn signals. I just love the look of these. Onto the back, we also have a really small like spoiler slash lip, and I just love the way that looks. It's not, a wing wouldn't look the best on this car, but I just think that lip is fantastic. A little bit more onto these wheels. So you might be wondering if these are the stock wheels. These are not, but these are the 2019 Mustang stock wheels. He put these on. He did have the stock wheels, which I'll include a little picture of right here. Furthermore, in the front, you have these fog lights, which are actually only on the GT model. You don't get these on the V6. And another interesting thing, which I love a lot about this Mustang, is that it has the black package, which means that the 5.0 badge right here is blacked out. The Mustang logo in the front, like the actual Mustang horse, is blacked out. And I just think that adds to the look of this. The other thing I really love about this car is just kind of the body lines of it. You have this massive hood right here. And it's just, I mean, you have to have this massive hood to fit the giant V8 in it. But when you're driving in this and you're looking out over the hood, it's just fantastic. Now the other thing I like with this car styling wise is you have this really small front lip right here. It's very subtle, but it just adds to the overall appearance of the car. And then furthermore, you have this body line that starts right here and it goes over the front wheel, and then it follows all the way down across this whole section, and it ties the front end a lot in with the rest of the car. And last with the styling, we have the fenders on this. It's not a wide body aftermarket, but from looking at the front, at least from right here, it's very wide, so it kind of has that stock wide body look, and the rear has it too. The hips of the car kind of come out a little bit, and I just think that looks fantastic. Okay, so onto the practicality of this car. It's not fantastic, but it's also not horrible. You do have a decent sized trunk. The opening is a little bit smaller than you'd expect, but you can fit a lot in there. You do have usable back seats compared to the BRZ that I last reviewed. The back seats you can't ride in. I know the owner of this car has driven 4 people around in it, and it works fine. Your knees might be a little bit crunched, but I mean, it's a 2-door car. It's not a 4-door sedan, so you can't really expect that much. Okay, so onto the interior of this car with the practicality. It's pretty decent. In the door panel right here, you have a little slot that is near your kind of like oh crap handle, and you can put magazines or your wallet or whatever you need to put in there, I guess like insurance or something. And then also you have this right here, your little glove box. It's not too bad. I mean, he's got a whole roll of duct tape in here, his tuner, and the owner's manual all in there, and it fits very well. So onto the cup holders in this car, you have two of them, and the one right here is a little bit deeper than this one, but they both hold water bottles almost the whole height of it, which is really good because you need it when you're driving so they don't tip over. I'm gonna show you what it's like to get in the back seat. It's actually fairly simple. The only annoyance is that when you pull this handle, it doesn't actually move the seat forward. You have to do that with the bar. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoot this seat up a little bit, and then all you wanna do is just kind of pull the handle right here. And then you can get back here pretty easily, and then just pull this back, give them a little bit more room. And I mean, I don't know if you can see this, I've got plenty of knee room right here, and they can still move the seat back enough for me to be comfortable. And you have two of these back here, and it does come with an armrest back here, and you've got, they're almost sports seats in the back. It holds you in pretty well. The only annoyance back here is that my head does rub on the top when I lean back, so I kind of have to sit like this. But overall, it's really great, and getting out, all you have to really do is just pull this and it goes forward, and then it's not too difficult to get out of. All right, so onto the comfortableness of this car. I think it's pretty good for what you're buying. I mean, you're buying an American muscle car. It's not, you're paying for the engine, so you're not really gonna be paying for luxurious seats or heated seats or anything like that. But these are the cloth seats. If you get the premium model, you get the Recaro seats, I'm pretty sure. But overall, they grip you pretty well, and I mean, I've never been uncomfortable riding in this. And you've got this nice steering wheel with the horse logo on it, and it just, the silver on all this just kind of ties in the retro fit of this. This is an old muscle car that they've continued for more than 50 years. And so there's plenty of leg room. I mean, I'm sitting pretty close up just so that I can push the clutch in all the way because there's a lot of travel, but it's decently comfortable even for the people in the back. All right, so like I said earlier, you've got the Coyote 5.0 producing about 420 horsepower stock and about 390 pound-feet of torque. And that's gonna get you from 0 to 60 in anywhere from 4.5 to 5 seconds, depending on how much throttle you're giving it, because honestly, this is a really hard car to get the power down, but when you do, you can expect a 4.5 second 0 to 60 time. Right here, you can see the aftermarket cold air intake you put in. This is from K&N. And overall, it's just a really clean engine. It's basically just the engine in this bay. I mean, there's not much room for anything else. This is the 32 valve dual overhead cam V8. So there's a lot going on in this, and it's a fantastic engine. Here's some sound clips of the exhaust. Alright, so onto the handling in this car. It is kind of what you would expect from a muscle car. I mean, this is definitely made to go in a straight line, and with 420 horsepower being sent to the rear wheels, you definitely have to be cautious with how much power you're giving it, especially in first and second gear. But with the upgrades that the owner has done on the suspension, it does handle very well. It grips surprisingly more than you would think from a muscle car. Then again, if you are going for a kind of a track autocross car, you're going to want to be looking at the ones with the IRS, the independent rear suspension, because you're just really going to want that. I mean, this thing, once a drift starts, it's very hard to kind of get it back into a straight line. But overall, the handling, I mean, the steering wheel, it grips well. It's definitely big, and you have a good position sitting here to be able to point the car where you want, especially with that long hood in front of you. I'm on the highway now, and this car does actually pretty good on the highway. I didn't expect it to, but first of all, you have the power anywhere you want. It's fantastic. You have to be a little careful though, because you definitely feel like you're going a lot slower than you are. Furthermore, the road noise isn't that big of a deal. It's the sound deadening. This car does weigh about 3,600 pounds, I think. So you don't hear the road as much, and the exhaust isn't super drony like my BRZ I reviewed. But yeah, overall, it's a decent car on the highway. You have a good position. The only bad part is this blind spot right here. Really hard to see stuff. But yeah, that's my review of the Mustang GT on the highway. Let's go to some back roads now. All right, so I'm driving on not necessarily back roads, but definitely some windy roads where I can test the handling. And it is a heavy car. That's definitely something you feel when you're steering this. You don't buy this car necessarily to be a track car unless you're going to build it up. This is more of a drag car, which is fantastic. I mean, coming out of corners, this thing pulls really hard. But I'm about to turn on the very twisty part, and definitely gonna keep it light. This isn't my car. All right, so I'm in second gear now. Let's just punch in and see what happens. So you can definitely tell with this car that it has some grunt behind it, puts you back, the hood lifts up. All right, so the back road was fun. I mean, if you buy this car, you're not gonna be disappointed on a back road, but if you do want something faster, definitely gonna be looking at spending a little bit more, because for this price, honestly, you're either gonna get a great engine or a great performing car. You're not gonna, it's hard to get both for this price point. So this definitely is a straight line car, but it does do well on a back road. Now, on the stoplight traffic, I drove around for about 15 minutes and it's fine. I mean, you've got power, the manual can kind of get tiring after a while, and the clutch is heavy, but I mean, it's a Mustang, you kind of have to expect that when you buy this car, but overall it's great. You don't get a ton of looks from this, which is good and bad. If you're the type of person that likes a flashy car, this might not be the one for you, but if you like a car that you can just kind of go and not attract a ton of attention, then this is definitely the car for you. The thing you gotta be careful is it's very easy to go fast in this car. The car is constantly wanting you to go faster, and you can definitely tell it with this engine. So I'm about to head to the fast food place where we'll do the test on that, and then that'll conclude the review. Yeah, thanks for watching. Also, if you didn't check out my last review, I'll put a little card up on one of these corners, not really sure, but go check it out. I reviewed my 2013 Subaru BRZ, and I kind of explained the scoring behind these reviews. So go check those out, and you'll understand a little bit more why I'm doing this and kind of how I'm doing this and the process behind it. All right, so moving through the drive-through, I mean, it's what you would expect from this car. It's not anything difficult. I mean, it is kind of hard to position the hood, or position the front because it's so big. You kind of have to take these wide angles and cut in. Yes, can I have the 4x4 with... Another thing with this car is it does have an aftermarket exhaust, which isn't a huge deal, but it definitely can get loud. Hey, good.
491. Thanks, Coleman.
Thank you. I'm actually filming a review on it right now.
Huh?
This isn't mine, I'm filming a review of it.
Oh, okay.
So, I wish it was mine.
Okay. What's that, a Mustang, right?
Yeah, GT. See, so if you saw that, I just got a compliment on the car, and it's not even mine, so talked to him a little bit, and everyone knows what these cars are, which is really cool.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so overall eating in the car, it's decent. It's what, like I keep saying, it's like you would expect. Cup holder room, you've got tons of it. I mean, this is a fairly large drink, and it fits in here fine. And I mean, this isn't going anywhere at all. And I mean, you got tons of places to put your food, and you don't really have to worry with these cloth seats. They're easy to clean if something were to spill. But overall, fantastic car, and let's head to the Jake score.
So starting with the style, it receives a 5 out of 10. This is a great looking car, but it's a little outdated and isn't as aggressive as the newer models. Practicality, it receives a 6. The trunk space is pretty well and the back seats are usable. Plenty of room to store stuff on the interior. Comfortableness, it receives a 7. It could have some nicer amenities on the inside, but overall it's pretty decent. Add it all up and you get an 18 out of 30 in the daily category. On to performance, acceleration, it receives an 8 with its 0 to 60 time of 4.5 seconds. Handling, it receives a 7 out of 10. It's pretty decent, but the back likes to slide everywhere. Add that up and you get a 15 out of 20 in the performance category. On to the different types of driving. Highway, it receives a 9, minimal road noise, and it's a pretty comfortable ride. Also, you have a lot of power whenever you need it. Back roads, it receives an 8 out of 10. The power is really nice, but this is a heavy car and you can definitely feel it. Stoplight traffic, it receives a 5. The clutch is really heavy, but it's a comfortable place to be. Add that up and you get 22 in that category. On to the different categories. Drive-through, it received a 7 out of 10. The cup holder space is pretty good, but it's also really hard to position the front end when you're going through the drive-through. Thrill level, it receives a 9. This car is extremely fast and really fun, especially with the manual transmission. Add that up and you get a 16 in the special categories. Add up everything and you get a 71 out of 100 for the grand total for the Mustang GT.